All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the Daniel Mwaka Show. Of course, that happened every single Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7:30. And today I had a very good panelists that are here with me. I've interacted with them before, and I believe that today we're going to have a very good discussions. And as usual, of course, we do have the event live. That means we have audiences that will later have the opportunity to, of course, ask questions as well. But before I go further, let me introduce my special panelists for today. But before I do that, let me just uh, introduce what we'll be talking about today. Today we'll be talking about identity and integration among South Sudanese. We are all aware that before and after independence, South Sudanese were so much united. We never heard of anything that divides South Sudanese. Not until after 2013, after the conflict of 2013, 2016, up to now, all of us can believe, and you can agree with me that South Sudan has become so much divided. People are divided according to the tribes, and according to the region, to the tribes, even to the communities, to the clan. So this is a stage where we have reached as South Sudanese. So we find it very important today for us to talk about how can we integrate, and how can we know that the true identity of South Sudanese, what can unite us together. So allow me to, of course, invite my guest from the far left. You're welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Mawaminga. I'm a musician, and a poet, plus other things. But I'm also not really a psychologist, but I'm a trainer in psychology in a specific area of character control and emotional intelligence. Thank you.
All right, great. I remember most of your posts, how do they say, somebody who don't believe in God, how do they call them? Atheists. So are you in that, or you have changed your faith?
Well, I actually consider myself as the leading member of the atheist community in South Sudan.
So you believe there is no God?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that will be a topic for next time. We need to talk about this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we need to find out exactly why you believe there is no God. Yes,
Definitely.
we'll come back to that.
Definitely.
Okay, let's go to Luke.
Thank you very much. My name is Lul Hawk. I'm a social and political commentator, and not so much. Most of the time, people call me social media criminal or something like that. And yeah, and you will excuse me, the audience, when you hear some weird word or pronunciation. I grew up in village, in cattle camp. When you hear me saying something like project, which I mean project, that's that's my thick African or Nuer pronunciation of those words. So I've been a fan of your work I've been number one fan of your work for a very long time. I've been following your show, and it is honor that I'm a finalist today.
Yeah,
so I made it.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, so a lot of communities in South Sudan, they have a way how they pronounce. Like for their cholis, they call Joseph Jojep. Jesus, they call Jesus. Okay. Now we come to our brothers, the Dinkas and the Nuer. As you just mentioned, project, they say project.
No. Project.
Project.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, look, why did they call you a social media criminal?
Well, the term was invented was it 2021 or 2022, when there was that old debate of dredging and not dredging. In contrary, because the name was given to those who were opposing to the dredging, and I was supporting the dredging.
Yeah.
And because of my
You supported the dredging.
100%, I was one of the voices that supported the dredging, and up to now I haven't changed my mind, because I know what it is, the blood and stuff like that. So I was given the name because of what I do. I'm a political commentator, so I comment on a lot of things, and I'm using social media, especially Facebook, to comment on social and political things. And being that loud, people will assume that you are a criminal because of the name that
Oh,
was
yeah,
invented
yeah.
by the minister.
Great. Yeah, I saw also of recent during the basketball competition, the Olympics. You mentioned something how Kwan Kwan call his name.
Yeah, Kwan Kwan, because that's his name.
Yeah,
He was naming himself Kwani Kwani, which
Kwane
is
Kwane.
not a Dinka name.
Mhm,
There's nothing like Kwani Kwani in Dinka.
mhm,
His parent born him and named him Kwan Kwan.
mhm,
And because he wanted to please the West or the white men,
mhm,
because they don't know how to pronounce his name, so instead of calling himself or teaching them, so he end up kneeling down to the white people and accepting the name they invented for
Kwane
him.
Kwane.
So culturally,
Yeah.
because he's our captain,
Yeah.
his job is to represent our identity as South Sudanese.
Mhm.
So him, not pronouncing his name correctly to appease the white people, how can we trust him? Because he's our captain. How can we trust him? He's doing this for our country when he cannot actually
Pronounce his name properly.
pronounce a South Sudanese name.
Okay.
So that was my commentary.
Yeah, I saw that and it went viral, and Horton Juba posted it, and people are having a lot of questions and debate on that. Now, I know. Let's start from the Olympics. The South Sudan Basketball Federation, the team has done us proud, and I think it's the first time that South Sudanese have united. These people sat together, they watched the match, and there was nothing like affiliation that okay, it's my community, let's sit together. Though at certain point when they lost, people made jokes on Facebook, say okay, Dinka and Nuer have contributed. So the one point that USA took the lead was for Equatorial. So Equatorians didn't do that part. The 1% was for Equatorians. I understand that was a joke. But now let's get to this. As I said before, in 2013, 2016, the conflict happened in South Sudan. It was a very terrible thing that really displaced a lot of people. Up to now, as we speak, people lost their dear ones, people in the refugee camps, people in IDPs, and South Sudanese are so much divided. So I just want to go to Mawa. You comment a lot as well, and I'll be reading most of your work as well. So since South Sudanese have been so much divided, I just want you to elaborate just a little bit. What do you think are the main reasons why South Sudanese are so much divided?
Okay. Let me start by saying I personally don't believe that there is tribalism in South Sudan.
What do you believe in then?
Well, it's normal, like blind loyalty to ethnic affiliations is normal, it's human nature. Let's assume that I have a friend who is dear to me, a very close friend to me, even closer to me than my own family, right? Which is normal. Relationships, human connections. But then, in any circumstance, if there is a circumstance where things go wrong, I will not run to my friend because he is the closest human to me. I'll run home to my family. So it's normal. Now, human connections is based on common interest. So what really divides us is that there is no common interest. You mentioned the basketball. The basketball united us because it was concerning everyone on the same level. So it was connected to us in one way or the other. So I wasn't connected to him cheering for our national team. I was connected directly to the national team, and he was connected directly to the national team, and everyone were connected directly to the national team. The national team was our common interest. Another example, actually, like the divisions did not start as recently. You know, we have a lot of history of divisions, examples of the Kokora and all that. You know, in 2012, the Higlich incident, the Panther incident. If I remember correctly, there was some kind of divisions within the SPLA back then, our national army, which was called SPLA back then. But when the Sudanese government or the Sudanese army used violence against us in Panther, we know what happened. We know what happened. We kicked these guys like within 1 day, less than 24 hours. Within less than 20, we took them all the way back to the to Sudan's territory, and we almost entered there until the international community told our president to tell his guys to back down. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That was a common interest. All South Sudanese were standing behind that. A lot of South Sudanese were kicked from universities in Sudan because they celebrated. Even we have our the first Rajaf badge. They were brought from Sudan, 2012. They were actually kicked from the Ismail Shinak, the police academy. They were given 48 hours
to leave.
To leave Sudan. So my point is that our tribalism is the absence of common interest.
So, do you believe there is tribalism? You said you don't believe it exists. We just lack the common interest.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, because we lack the common interest, what do you think is dividing us?
Okay. What is dividing us? Let me start with what brings conflict. You know, as I mentioned, blind loyalty to ethnic affiliations is normal. But then we have that not like we have that connections of essence to our own cultures. So we all believe our cultures are better than the other cultures. And I can say it's boredom. We have nothing to do. Like when you're bored, you start becoming creative in some negative ways. So what we do is we use our own cultures or the greatness of our cultures to inflict harm on others or to look better than others. So when I portray myself as better than you, I don't know how people see that, but I believe violence is always an option. And it's true, violence is always an option. That's what Malcolm X said. It doesn't matter if it's the first option or the last option, but violence is always an option. But for us here, violence is always the first option.
Yeah.
You know, people don't use that. It's all because of boredom. Like there's nothing to do. I always say government institutions are non-income generating institutions. So if the government can impose into the institution to start business and all that, they will actually provide a lot of jobs, a lot of employment opportunities. Like the military can start a lot of security companies. All our security companies here are private companies owned by foreigners. In Sudan, all the security companies are owned by
nationals,
by military units.
Yeah.
Are affiliated to the military, affiliated to the police, affiliated to the national security, affiliated to this and that. So that like as an askari, if you don't have an assignment, you go work at the security company. You rotate for like 3 months, 6 months, then someone else goes there, which is something for you to do, an extra income for you, things like that. So if we have things to do, we will not think about using our own cultural greatness to inflict harm on others, you know?
Okay, I get that. I'm happy to announce, maybe you're not aware, we have one of the South Sudanese owned security company, and I'm glad the owner is here. Mr. Cosmos own a purely South Sudanese security company. So I think we are coming up now. Yes. So let's go to Lulhok. Just to pick from where Mr. Mawar just said, do you believe there is tribalism or not?
Yeah, because tribalism is in practice. You can say that there's tribalism. He commented, I agree with him, because this tribalism happens because we don't have a common objective as a South Sudanese. And who can we blame it off to? I think always every society to grow, it has to have a direction, and that direction must be led by the leadership of that particular country. It is obvious when you can refer to those days before the referendum, we were united. Our common goal was we need to have our own country. We have to vote for separation. We were the advocate of that goal. It was our national leadership. They do all the campaigns. They would tell us this is the direction we want for our country. Once we have our country, this is what will happen. We will have this and we will have that. So after the independence, what happened? We start, having this. I first-hand experience that there's a problem in our country. It was in 2012. I was very young boy. I came here to Juba. I wanted to go continue my studies because I did my primary 8 and then my first year in Lair. Yeah, I go to school in the morning and the afternoon I go and look for the cattle. So I'm a cattle keeper. So when I came to Juba, I went to a certain school here in Aitejaria. I told I want to be registered. They told me that, oh, Taminwen. They say, I'm from Bentiu. Oh, why are you here? I told them I come to Central, to our capital city.
Yeah.
Then why don't you have a capital city there? I told them, I don't know. Because, I'm just a student.
Yeah.
So later on, as how I'm growing, I'm not blaming it on them because they have seen what's happening. And what was happening, pre 2013, it is that the distribution of our resources was not equal. Yeah. If let's say in Unity State, that's when I started becoming political commentator, is that we supposedly to have 5% of the oil share. And our community don't get not even single pound. And 5% is a lot of money.
And where was the 5% going?
Since this is the question.
Yeah,
this is the question. It is going to, there are some big rats in Unity State. Yeah. So, and not only that, Unity State is just very small, a drop in the ocean. A lot of money were coming in, and they usually end up in the hands of very few. And that when this money do not get into our pocket, each and every one of us, we will have problem because we know this is ours and some are eating it.
Yeah.
So now it will become who are these people? There will be figures, okay, representing, hitting those money. You will see, okay, where are they coming from? Okay, they are coming from Unity State of Warab or where. Then the rest will just be the victim of some big rats up there representing or hitting on behalf of the others. And hold for us, the commoners, we will be hating on ourselves because one of our rats is eating up there. Yeah. And in fact, we are not even getting the even what they have vomited. We don't get it.
Yeah. And I want to some extent, I kind of believe what Mawa said, that there's no tribalism. I think South Sudanese, like now we are seated here, I think we have represented almost the different tribes. The different tribes, at least the major tribes that we are here, we have represented. You can imagine this. Now, I also believe that if you go into Helat, our areas, you find people are living together. Not until politics came in. In fact, the dirty politics came in. And distribution of resources. Because if today I'm eating and my neighbor is not eating, I'm driving, my neighbor is not driving, the life is not changing each and every day. is struggling, what do you think the neighbor will start asking? Even before mentioning your tribe, will say no, but where is this guy from? You see? And you start asking and finding more about you. Now, this brings to a question. I want to start from Equatoria. Okay? And I want us to be very honest. This is why you're having the show. Very, very honest. I'll start with you, Luke. And that's why I wanted another General D was supposed to be here, but I want to start from you, Luke. Do you think there is Equatorial privilege being an Equatorian? Do you think there's a privilege being an Equatorian?
Yes, there is. In fact, in Juba, you cannot sleep out because of. But when you are Equatorian, it is easy for you to get the rent. But for a guy from Unity State, it is very hard. I was because I was in the same area with him at the time. When I started moving, I went to Nyakuran because that was the first place I started living there. It was very hard. They will ask, "Oh, sorry, you people have name for us." They call us Jenge.
What is the name?
They call us Jenge.
Jenge.
Jenge, we don't want you. So you people are grabbing our land and stuff like that. Guys, I'm just a guy, and I don't even. I just need to be in
to rent even.
To rent.
Yeah.
And if you kick me out, I will go. I don't have guns.
Yeah.
They don't. But if I was Equatorian, I would have easily get the rent at the time. And I don't know what's that happening. They say that there's a land grabbing in Juba. Yeah, it can be true. But I think on issues to do with you said if there are biases, positive ones toward the Equatorian. Yes, there is. It is easy for Equatorian to learn on the organization job. It is easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the privileges of being an Equatorian.
Yeah, you can be trusted because I think because of what you guys do best. Yeah, maybe you. Yeah.
Do we perform or we just there's just a privilege of being an Equatorian, so you learn into jobs?
Okay, maybe it's based on performance, but in a statistic, the high number of Equatorian working for NGOs. Than the rest of the South Sudanese.
Then let me
I don't know if that's a privilege or not, but purely privilege, you can find rent easily in Juba because you are Equatorian.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go to Mawa. Do you think there is something like Dinka privilege or a Nuer privilege? Just by being a Dinka or being a Nuer, do you think there is a privilege attached to that? Just to be honest, this is honest discussion.
Definitely. But then there is this thing, huh? Everyone has a privilege one way or the other. It's not supposed to be a privilege, but you are preferred where your community is dominating, or your community has easy access, or your community can crack the codes better or easier. He mentioned the thing with organizations. It's not an Equatorial privilege. I'm a witness to that. Someone applied to an international NGO, and he actually did good in the interview. But the job was given to the second best because he was told, your community are dominating in the government, so other communities must get other chances.
Yeah. Where to eat.
Yes. And in the point of him saying, talk about the rent, the reason why people are not giving their houses is not because you are from that community, but they have a bad experience with someone from that community not taking care of their house. You see? And by the way, mark my words, and you can quote me on that 100 times over. All these practices of tribalism, Dayata Medina. Because when you go to the deepest parts of the Bondo, no one will care about
Yeah.
where you're coming from, unless you're from somewhere close and you've been having a face-to-face clashes. But otherwise, when you go there, they will consider you as a guest, despite your community. So this ayata tribalism, da ayata Medina, comrade. Yeah.
I like the point you said. It's not, they're not refusing to rent a house because you are coming from a certain community, but because they believe, they have that experience that you may not take good care of the house.
Yes. Yes.
We have experienced this in East Africa. Let's say Uganda and Kenya. In fact, there they don't know that you're a Dinka anywhere. They say South Sudanese. They don't say you're a Dinka anywhere. Who, as long as they ask, where are you from? Say, I'm from South Sudan. They say, there's no place for rent. They deny. They might either give you the house at a very higher price.
Yes. Yes.
So that to compensate in case there is a damage that's going to happen. So, and I do believe, on this my own perspective, there is a privilege being an Equatorian. I agree. As you just mentioned, it's easy for you to navigate here in Juba, being an Equatorian. Someone might feel pity, say, but this is my fellow. I think this is normal. Okay, this is my fellow Equatorian. Let me help, right? And there's also being a privilege being a Dinka or anywhere. Being a Dinka right now, especially if you are from the other region, they say, but this one, if you go to the big offices, they say, but this is our people. You see? So I just want us to be very honest. There is privileges in being coming from any tribe.
Yeah.
There is a privilege.
Definitely.
So we should not blight ourselves. I know there is no tribalism. There's no privilege being a Dinka, being a Nuelo, Tuko, Bari, and all those stuff. In fact, being a Bari is a greater privilege here in Juba because the land belongs to them.
Yes.
You don't have to rent.
Yeah.
You see, that's already a privilege. Now, let me go to the second question, and I will go from. Let me start from Mawa right now.
Okay.
I want you to mention one bad thing that you know. One bad thing that you know about the Nuer. Yeah, this is just being practical. Just one bad thing that you think is really, because we are tired of speaking in corners. Yeah, I just want us to come. Of course, it's a Nuer, it's a Dinka. I just want to mention on your head that, okay, you guys, I know you are from this tribe, but what you're doing, this is really not good. So can you tell him?
I grew up with Nuer.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I was even learning to speak Nuer. But like we'll be playing, this Billy, this glassy, whatever, and then when they disagree, they will start disagreeing in Rotan, and then they will start snatching things and run, and then and I have another experience of that was back in Khartoum. I got in a fight with someone, like some Mundukuru kids, and like we were not kids by then. I was in secondary school. The problem, the fight actually wasn't mine. It was my friends, and then we stand with ours. So we got in the fight, and as things started to get violent, like some Shabab kid at Anwerja, Malu Fishino, Malcolm, and before we even told them what's happening, they told us to go.
Yeah.
And they handle things, and like they really handle things like in a very, very good way.
Yeah.
In a very violent way.
Yeah.
So one bad thing I can say about the Nuer is, for them, violence is always the first option. And this is out of experience.
Yeah, this is how you have experience.
Yeah.
Now,
I've never, like, the violence has never landed on me.
yeah.
But violence is always the first option for them.
All right, thank you. Now I'm going to ask Monica, I'm going to ask you to come up here. It's also this the sitting, right? Okay. Now you give the mic to Monica. Monica Yedinka.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you tell us one bad thing about Equatorians. Just be honest from your heart and say this is one bad thing about you guys.
Like, honestly, one bad thing about Equatorians.
Mhm. We'll come to that. You can't say that. You can't say that.
Okay, the truth is,
Mm.
like right now, my friends are Equatorians. I have most of my friends that are Equatorians, but then I've not experienced any bad thing from them. So I won't lie.
Okay.
Maybe outside there, but personally, no.
Okay. Have you heard anything about bad about them? About they call us nyam nyam. Have you heard anything bad about? Eh?
I know, but then I do hear things like maybe they do witchcraft a lot.
Mhm.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's what I've heard, but I don't know if it's real.
Okay. So these are two different things. You have not experienced, but you heard.
Yeah.
You hear. Okay, give to Luke. Yeah, she has never experienced a bad thing about Equatorians. So you tell us, what is the bad thing about Equatorians?
Okay. Number one.
It's like- you have plenty, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number one.
Uh-huh.
You cannot trust your life on a Equatorian when you guys are in a fight. This is coming from a Nuer perspective. Yeah, they can easily sell you out.
Ah.
I'm sorry. I learned this I heard this from
this is being transparent here.
from my SPLA fathers. No, I cannot give an example because
Oh no.
because
we-
I'm
Yeah, I
I
understand.
cannot give an
Yeah, okay,
example
but-
because
but
I've
Luke-
never been in a
No,
fight. with
Monica, you be here. Don't go back. Come and sit here. So the thing is, what you have experienced, one thing that you know, you're not told, but you really know.
I know, I have experience with so many South Sudanese here, especially my interaction most of the time with people is political.
Yeah.
And you cannot always blame, your disagreement with one person because even in politics, even your father, you can have different issues. You cannot blame it on the whole community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's everywhere. You have
Yeah.
disagreement when you have a agreement. When the interest it start disappearing, you kind of go your way. But according to what I heard from from people who the liberators we were talking about,
Yeah.
this is what they said.
Mm.
So that again, I think it is all because of one thing, because your the tribalism from the Equatorian, they don't do it in the open. They do it,
Underground.
under the table.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think which is the baddest, because I'll prepare someone, talking
Yeah.
to me face to face, and someone, posing as a friend, and then later on will start doing stuff, maybe because what she had.
So they're not being real.
Kinda.
Yeah. So that is one. Two. You started with the one. I believe there's another one.
I know that's nothing.
that's
else.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, now you tell us one good thing about Equatorians.
Okay. What good thing? It's easily for you to be to have an Equatorian friend, because they are easily backing you up until there's a violence. They will now start running. Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing about Equatorian is that they have very quick, understanding of what bad is going on. But it's only that they don't have, they don't come up with the solution very, very easily. Because if we can go, historically, for us to have a debate of a division, or us having a country, it was first, started by the Equatorian. You know, if you can remember the Torit mutiny, yeah, it was the Equatorian who first, you know, realized that having the same countries with Jalava is not okay. Then they started with, you know, with the Harro. I read the story. Yeah, but it was not successful, and until the Nilotic joined in.
Yeah, I like that. You know, let me say this: there's some clips that are been moving around. I don't know whether you came across. That's why I said people need to start having a very honest conversation, like this way we are having. It helps a lot. In that voice note, they were discussing about the Torit mutiny, how Joseph Lago betrayed the movement, how he was deceived, and all those stuff. You see, that is in that WhatsApp group. And one of the guys said, "You know what? These Equatorians are cowards. Without Dinkas coming in, they would have not had independence right now." I'm coming to that.
Is it without Dinka or without the Nuer?
No. In that in that conversation, that's what they were saying. So now somebody asked that now without Equatorians, was there going to be South Sudan? One of their own guys in the WhatsApp group. So this is where they had a lot of questions, because that guy said everybody participated in the struggle. You cannot say because Equatorians are not brave, so you rubbish them off. Okay? But somewhere, you find we have also generals that participated in the struggles. As you just mentioned, 1955 started from Torit. So this is a contribution that has come up. But now, under the table, people are talking, and no one is willing to come up and say, you know what, and have this kind of conversation. You know what, you Equatorians, you are cowards. You see, you did this, you betrayed us here and there. But things are moving underground. Until when it comes into a fight, that's when they will tell you on your face, you guys, you're cowards. You see? So I feel like it's important for us to talk about this. Now, let me go to Mawa. You said the bad thing about the Nuerens. The violence is the priority. What you respond that? You respond to that later. Now, you tell us some of the good things about these two people, the Nuerens and the Dinkas. What are some of the good things that you know about them?
Some of the good things.
Yeah.
I can mention a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But let me mention this.
Mm-hmm.
In every community, there are the right-handed and there are the left ones.
Yeah.
Like let me not say in psychology. Well, for me personally, life is a matter of balance between good and evil, right?
Yeah.
Every coin has two
sides.
faces.
Yeah.
Life is a matter of balance between good and evil. The evil is constant. So what we need to work on is the good. So when a community is considered bad, that means they are not putting enough effort to uplift their good side. Some of them might have genuine reasons. Let me comment on something. When it comes to violence concerning Equatorians. All the tribes in the Equatorian region, since the times of the great migrations, because all of us migrated from the north. Some of us came straight from the north, some of us came from northern east, and some of us came from the northern south. My own tribe, the Kakwa, the word Kakwa is coming from the word Kakoa, which means the biters, which simply means they will fight you with everything they have, even if they have to bite you with their own teeth. How did they become cowards?
Are you saying they're cowards?
Ah, it's a 50-50.
50-50, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did they come to that? It's religion. You know, South Sudan wasn't divided. Sudan wasn't divided in 2011. Sudan was divided from the late 1800s. What was happening then? The missionaries were coming in. You know, that was the time of the religious exodus,
Yeah.
or the religious entry to.
Yeah.
So, like, from the current borderline between Sudan and South Sudan, somehow Islam stopped around the borderline and Christianity continued. What do they tell the Christians? Your God is a forgiving God. If someone slap you this side, you give him, and which is very stupid. Like, it's not even human nature. Like, I can now stand and slap you. What do? You slap me twice.
Yeah.
First, because I slapped you, and second, because you don't know why I slapped you.
Yeah.
You know, and what did they tell the Muslims? Anyone who is not a Muslim does not deserve to live.
To live, yeah. Yeah.
So this is when they divided the country. So the problem is religion. Like, my biters, when you do them wrong, what do they say? Bye konda ngun my ass. Like, really? Allah fi.
Allah fi. Yeah.
Allah tamunu yazol. What does Allah going to do? What have Allah done all these time?
Yeah.
Nothing. People get this with their own hand.
Mm-hmm.
So violence is always an option? Yeah, goddamn right. Violence is always an option.
Okay.
So to mention one good thing,
Yeah, the good things, yeah.
my own mentor, like 90% of the good things that I do right now is thanks to Dr. Ayak Chol, which is my personal mentor. She really went head over heels to make sure where I'm at today. That's because of her. I ventured in mental health because of her. Like, I what do you call it? I rehabilitated myself by myself thanks to her. I ventured into writing thanks to her. Now I have 7 books ready to be published
Wow.
because of her. Like, so, you know, it's as she says, Gilat Arab Madara la Gabila. You know, so let me just end by saying it's the vibrations. You know, it's the vibrations. It doesn't matter which community you're from. If we vibe, we will definitely be good to each other.
Yeah.
If we don't vibe, we will not. No matter how good I am. If I don't like you, I will not be good to you. Thank you.
And thank you very much. You know, I asked this question. Maybe I've asked the bad thing about the Equatorians, the Nuers and the Dinkas. Most of the things said I had, like what you said, I had the practice witchcraft. I had the cowards, I had the this and that.
Witchcraft is African spirituality, my friend. There's nothing wrong with that. Mush? Witchcraft is African spirituality.
Yeah, but that's what they fear. They thought the way Equatorians use it, they use it against. So now, you know why I brought this point is just for us to understand that sometimes we have this tribalism issue because of the things we had. Like, I've never done anything to Luke. We vibe with him. But now, when someone starts talking about the Nuers, it includes him. Someone said the Nuers are bad. You see, I start having a different perspective if I had not known him. You see, if I've not met him, I'll say, no, Luke is bad. But now he's my friend, I know him. And someone will say, the Nuers are bad. I'll say, no. But they say the Nuers are bad. But how come Luke is a good guy? He's my friend.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So I think we need to get time to know each other and make friends from across the country. This is the most important thing. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we continue saying, Dinkas, these are very bad people. Equatorians are very bad people. So this is the essence of why I wanted us to talk about this, like to ask exactly what has Equatorian done to you. You see, because some of these things is taught in the families. They say, no, you know what? Equatorians are very bad people. Some parents, they do this. These are your enemies. You don't have to trust them. You see, you must have heard about that. They say, Dinkas, these are your enemies. Don't trust them. Don't be with them. And this is being taught by our elders who are facing out. The years on earth is almost gone. You see, and now they are distorting the young generations that need to blend together. And that's why there's so much disunity in South Sudan. There's so much fighting. You are fighting something you don't know. You don't know why you're fighting. You see? Yesterday I was chatting with somebody. Somebody said, South Sudanese, they also love with violence. Yeah, in fact, someone commented in the other podcast we had. South Sudanese, they love with violence. Why are we so violent to each other? You see? So these are some of the things, if we have such discussions, and I ask you, okay, you said the Equatorians are bad. Tell me something that the Equatorians have done to you. As a person, what have they done? As you said, the coin has two faces, the bad and the good. So why don't we focus on the good side and try to ignore the bad thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the thing. And in every community, there's a bad person. Not everyone is good. Yeah, so I cannot say Dinkas are bad people. No, it cannot be that way. Oh, Equatorians are all bad people. It cannot be that way. You see? So let me just open the floor for some few questions. If somebody you want to add something, or you want to ask something specific that needs to be elaborated more on it, I think this is the time now. Yeah.
She wants to say something, but she's trying to construct like the.
You want to say something, right? Yeah. You have something to say? You want to comment something? Yeah, we have Pascal here.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so all the hatred that happened between Dinka and Equatoria comes through life experience, what they have experienced. For example, most of our women that get married to Dinkas, they face a lot of violence. The children get taken away from them. And this create a lot of hatred, especially for our elderly women in our community. Now they end up advising us who are young that if you ever go to this tribe, I will disown you. Okay? So this is from life experience. I think it's also similar to Dinkas who are also maybe not liking Dinka Equatorian. Maybe they've also went through some life experience. That's why they're going through this. So this is just my comment. Yeah.
Can I comment on the marriage?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in Africa in general, all the big tribes in Africa, if you pay a close attention, all the big tribes in Africa inbreed. They marry internally. This is how they keep their identities. They say one of the things that we can do to unite us is intermarry. I watched this movie, like a movie talking about hatred between blacks and whites in America, and there is this white guy who has a black girlfriend, and he was asked, what do we need to do to eliminate this hate? He said, like, everybody just gotta keep fucking everybody until we all the same color. Yeah, it will help one way or the other, but it will wipe a lot of identities. Remember, DNAs does not carry the same magnitude. Intermarriages. Some communities, it doesn't matter if it's the mother or the father. If they are from that community, all the children are resembling that community, which means that DNA holds a stronger magnitude than this one, which is normal. So my recommendation to marriages, even these big tribes, they do marry from other communities, but most of them
Don't accept.
marry more than one wife, and it doesn't matter if it's the first wife or the last wife. The center of the house is always the wife from his own
That's right,
community.
yeah.
And even some other tribes, I know of them. That's things I've witnessed. Even if they marry from another community, they would still have someone at home. You are in a live marriage, a marriage that is going very well, but you still have someone at home. So one of your kids or two of them will be coming from somewhere else,
Yeah.
or from back home. So I actually recommend people marry from within their communities to keep their own identities. Yeah, everyone is looking at me funny.
And
Okay.
and aren't you tribalist now? That you are opposing to intermarriage? No, I'm joking. Yeah, you know the problem with intermarriage in South Sudan is that you are married into a household with a different culture, and every time there's a disagreement, especially for us, the Nuer and the Dinka, our women only understand when there's some thought of violence, and
What do you mean some sort of violence? You. That's sorry. What? Yes, please.
yeah. I'm not telling you that go and beat your wife, but this is what normally happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you are always violent to someone you love. You cannot start having yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, feminists. Yeah. And again, most of you girls who are in town now, because I remember, for example, there are so many marriages, the intermarriages that happened back then, before the importation of feminism, they were good. Now you are married to a Dinka man or a Nuer man, and the Dinka man or a Nuer man want to bring in another wife, because for a Nuer guy to be considered, fully a man, he has to have, let's say, 3 or 4 wives.
To be considered fully a man.
Yeah, now that this is why whatever you want to say or discuss in public has to be taken care of seriously. Because if you can be able to handle 3 wives, Makalas, you are responsible and mature man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the feminists, the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the millennials, they don't wanna, they do not want a husband to have more than one wife, which is wrong. Where do we get that idea? STDs, it is funny because you ladies in town here, you have more than one boyfriend. What you are cheating? Yeah. What STDs are you guys talking about? Yeah. So for fees to prevail in your house,
Yeah.
you must be the mother of the house. Take care of your husband. Take care of the new wife. And be the queen, so that the king has more wives. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you want to say something on this one? I don't want to divert from our topic, but okay, you can say it. You can say it.
No, I forgot something, my sister. I think it is not a Dinka problem that those violence happen. Human is always resort to violence when there are some disagreements. So it is not Dinka. There are so many successful marriages that is between Dinka or a Nuer between Dinka or Nuer, or between Dinka and a Equatorian lady, it is because maybe that woman does not respect the man the way the man wanted. You know, that's why maybe those who are telling you guys don't get married into a Dinka or a Nuer household. If you do, I'll disown you. Maybe they have other reason, not uh, because the men that hate you or beats you or are violent towards you because of your identity. It is because you young generation are not respecting your husbands. You want men or your husband to be feminist, and masculinity cannot allow that. You want guys to be very soft, very apologizing, which is wrong.
Kneeling
You,
down
you
every
can
time.
stop that. Yeah.
Okay, before you give the mic, I understand the point where Pascal was coming from, and I want to make this, and some of you might agree with me or not. Some other tribes, communities, let me say community, not tribe, communities, they want to marry from certain communities, but they don't want you to marry from them. Is it happening? Is it happening? I want to make there are some other communities, they want to marry from your community, like they want to pick your ladies, but they don't want you to marry from their communities. Is it happening? So how can we eradicate tribalism if marriage is only one-sided?
One-side marriage is actually not marriage. This is domination. Because the one DNA that is getting mixed is one side. And where does it go? This side.
Yeah.
Even the mixed children here, when they marry from the communities that they were integrated to, in 5 to 7 generations, their DNA will become purely of
The other community.
yes. That's domination. That's political marriage.
So that's not that is not eradicating tribalism.
No.
So marriage, intermarriage
That's
is not
wiping
part
a
of
community.
That's wiping community.
Yes.
Okay. So this is one thing that I wanted to say, to talk about. I said we are talking open here. To marry a Dinka lady, if you are non-Dinka, it's
You
a
can go
disaster.
through hell, pass over, and
It's a
still not
disaster.
succeed.
It's a disaster. In fact, the brothers, let me just say this.
I think it's happening because Dinka, they marry with cows. And it is obvious, maybe kinda, that the Equatorian do not have, like, maybe one family has like 300 400 cows.
But we have cows.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, the Lotuko speakers have cows.
That's Lotuko out of
The Toposa have cows.
like
The Peri has cows.
I was
Yeah,
told
Lango
I was
has
told
cows.
I was told that you only need like 2-3 chicken and some bags and some bag of weed,
No.
and then you
No,
get a wine.
we have plenty. The Mondaris, they have cows.
Yeah, I know Modari.
Yeah, so this is something that I think people need to, because if intermarriage is going to happen, it should happen from both sides, right? Should not only be okay, you're picking our ladies when you come to your girls and you feel like the boys, the way they will look at you and say you will deal with you. So it's happening. Yeah, so this is something that is happening, and I want us to say, if you want to say intermarriages will eradicate tribalism, let us marry among ourselves. Don't restrict. Don't restrict. Allow, if someone finds love in Equatorial, let them also be married. You said you were saying it's not true.
Well, I have a lot of things to say. I don't know which one to start with, but let me start with his statement about we ladies having, the Gen Zs, having more than 2 boyfriends. One is the economy now. And not every man that we date, we go on bed with. But you men, any skirt that you see, you want to take on bed. Okay? For us, we can date just to pick from this one, pick from the other one, but we shall have our main what? Our main guy. That's one.
That is using men.
Of course. Why do you work? Secondly, because you want to cheat on your wives. So, ladies, are we together? Yes. Is it not okay? If you're allowed to have, I'm still single in my father's house. I'm allowed to mingle, to look for that right man. I cannot date one. Because you might break my heart. You also can't date one. You are having more than two. And there's one that you are striving at. What if I'm not the one? I also need to have thank you. The second is about the marriages. There I disagree because I have my uncles, two of my uncles, who are married to Dinka ladies. One from Rumbek and one from Bargazal. And up to now, they're happily married. It's just the matter of you giving in what the parents need. Let me say something. Equatorians like giving small. You get? They don't like, giving dowry. Paying 100 cows, 200 cows, it's like selling their whole life. They'll look like, oh, this money is too much, I cannot manage. Or this cows is too much. That's why you get. This is being realistic here. But if you find a lady who is a dinka and you can afford paying the dowry, the parents will not have any reasons.
Equatorians, are we together?
No, that's two. The third is about tribalism. You see, this thing of tribalism, it's not in the community, as Mwaka said. This thing is in the, I'm not good with the South Sudan politics because it's so dirty. I don't want to go into that. But in our communities, me personally, as Teddy, I've never had any issue with any Dinka man, with any Dinka lady, with any Nuer man, with any Nuer lady. I've grown in a community whereby I've always had Dinka and Nuer who are my friends. Even my first boyfriend in life was a Bargazalan boy. You get the point. So I never, Bargazalian or whatsoever, I've never had an issue with these people. And me growing up, I never knew that there was something existing in South Sudan like, these are Equatorians, these are Dinkas, these are Nuer. I looked at myself as a South Sudanese until 2017 when I joined campus. Can you imagine? When I joined campus, that's when I knew there's something called Dinka, and I think because of the war and all that happened in 2013 and 2016, that really brought this kind of division. And I came to realize there's something called Equatorians, and when you're making a meetings, people do this, people do that, and all the insults we get, you are nyam nyam because we are cowards. I agree with him. The religion has really affected most of the Equatorians. Okay? Because everything is Rabuna fi, Kena Sibule Rabuna, Kena Sibule Yesua. But the rest of the tribes, I think maybe, I don't know, the colonialists reached them late. I don't know about that because I'm not well known with, I don't know the history about South Sudan very well. But we who are this side near the borders, you get, of Uganda and Kenya, who are really too much into religion. That's why when there's a fight, we back out, We'll be like, okay, God is there. God will provide. God is going to fight our battles. Which battle? Okay? That's why even me, I'm a coward. I personally, I'm a coward. All my life, I've never fought. I can look for trouble. We talk and you don't start beating me. I run, no. I run for my life. Not because I like violence or something, but I just prevent. If I fight and you slap me and my skin gets off and then I'll be the one in pain. I just run for my life. You get, in the process, you shoot me and all that. So there's nothing like tribalism within the community.
Yeah,
you get.
Yeah.
And about the house rent in Juba, them Equatorians not giving land to the Dinkas and the Nuers. I think Mwaka gave an example of that. It's not only within South Sudan, but it's also outside South Sudan. I remember when I was in my second year, I went to look for a house because I was tired of hostel. I went to look for a house and I told them I'm looking for a house. Then they were like, they didn't know that I know Luganda. Then they were like, you're from South Sudan. I was like, yes, I'm from South Sudan. Then they were backbiting. They were like, this girl is from South Sudan, but the way she's short and she has some. But anyway, let us try her. This is what they were saying because they didn't want to give me the house. But the guy that I moved with was my friend and is a Ugandan, and they don't know that I know Luganda. So they gave me the house. But when I was leaving that house, they really gave me the reasons as to why they are not giving houses to South Sudanese. They were like, you girl, you are different.
Yeah.
In this house, we had a Dinka. These people can cook mula kudra, whether they work out, this is your food. The water remains, you just pour in the compound. The house was in a mess. They gave me 2 weeks. That I should give them 2 weeks. They should renovate the house before I get in. Like really, the house was in a very bad condition. So people not allowing you to settle into their house, it's mostly, I cannot blame the men, but with the women, let me say the women of Dinka and the other tribes, I don't know. Let's keep hygiene. I don't think that's all.
Okay, he wants to respond.
No, let her keep the mic. I'm responding to you because you say something about dating and stuff like that. Yeah, and I'm a guy who doesn't tolerate feminist stuff. First of all, you say you date because of the economy and stuff like that. You date, let's say, 3 men, and because of the economy. I'm not saying it's you, but that ideology wouldn't be wrong for someone to say, "Wow, that's being a slut."
You can say that again.
Eh?
You can say that
You
As long as I am in my father's house and I'm still single, I'm not sleeping around, I'm just getting money. I'm not a slut. A prostitute or a slut is someone who goes and have sex for money. But it's you, man, who approaches
no.
me.
You mentioned something called economy.
Economy is me getting money from you. You date me, you want me.
Yeah.
There are sometimes
And now
exactly,
and now, and now you date.
You're just considering men as an empty ATM machine for free. But I don't believe in this generation that people do give money for free.
And again, and
And
again,
you know the idea, the men. What? Okay.
yeah, and again, they say they just pick the money and they don't go and sleep with those men or things like that.
That's a
But
lie.
then, there's no man who can continue giving money for a long time, without any benefits to him, or he doesn't see any direction in the relationship. He does not do that. Men don't do that these days, most especially in this kind of economy.
we don't take that money frequently. If we take from you today, we leave you, we continue. It's over, baby boy. Go to the next
Listen,
person.
love, let me tell you something. I want to give you an assignment. Go and read about energy vibrations in human connections. If you read about that and if you understand it very well, you will stop multi-dating. Because that thing affects your own mental construction. It affects your own mental health. It affects your own physical building. It affects you generally. It affects your future. It disconnects you from your own self. And you said, as long as you are in your father's house, isn't your father supposed to cater for your needs?
All right. Now the discussion has the discussion has moved from identity to relationship now. It's spicing. Yeah. Yeah. We will do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. Definitely, we'll do that for next week. And our time has gone. We're supposed to stop at 7:30. Now it's 7:46. So I think at this point, can I say we end this and get the last words from Lulhok and Mr. Mawa? Yeah, so I can have 3 minutes for networking. The beautiful girls here who are single, and there are also single guys here.
Yeah, I think this is the it is a beautiful discussion, and most of the time I explained earlier on that I use social media a lot, and I'm a different character there, and somewhat problematic, and which is totally different from me physically. I'm a nice guy. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, the discussion is really nice. I would really want the other lady that transpired this discussion. Unfortunately, she's in Nairobi. The story she wrote about the guy she met, at the airport and stuff like that. She was wrong, and she was lying. And it would really be nice if Geraldine was here, because he was, defending her really, really, really hard. Because her story, I say that on my Facebook, and I will say it now, it is tribalistic. It is not uniting our South Sudan. It was portraying one community, blaming badness of one guy on the general, population, which is wrong, and portraying herself as a good person because she's from this community. So that was wrong. I would really want Geraldine to explain himself why defending someone who was lying and someone who was, visibly tribalistic. The discussion we had and the interaction we had today is really nice. We want to do it. Yeah, I'm always available with this kind of discussion space with the feminists. I and Geraldine, we, yeah, you can bring her on. Yeah, yeah. Our country, as we are speaking right now, we are under invasion from our neighboring countries. The Uganda is taking over the Kajukeji already. They are in Raja. We cannot talk about Nadafal. The Kenyan have already taken. They are almost going to Kapoita. It is wrong, and it's unfortunate that the security of our country is focusing on shutting down a meeting of medical stuff. I heard that today that they shut down a meeting they had a conference, but they are not fighting the external invasion, which is one of their responsibility. So as a country, we must protect the integrity of our country, and and the division you see now, it's because we don't have a direction as a country. There was a time when our leaders had one. 2005, they focused to liberate us through ballot from the Sudan, and we were united. And now that we don't have one, it is clear that now the hunger is everywhere, and I hope the hunger we have unite South Sudanese so that we fight it equally. And thank you.
Let me start by saying this. A lot of people like literally hate me for my open-mindedness. I always speak openly. I speak honestly, meaning no harm to anyone. In education, there is one way of doing things. There is one right answer. But in human nature or in psychology, when it comes to how you feel and what you think, there is no wrong answer. I'm really happy to be here. Last time we discussed that I will join the discussion about religion, which I believe did not happen. Find a preacher who is Bekas Magobi Kida. I will convince him here. Yes, please. Like, I believe that there are a lot of efforts to start campaigns on rebranding South Sudan. But these campaigns, you are one of the people who are doing that, but these campaigns are not being supported, are not being accepted. Just a little example. When a South Sudanese does something good, and that thing happens to go to the media or social media, just go through the comments and see the resisting comments, like the negative comments, something positive, and just think of the resisting comments. One of the examples is when brother Kwaje Nelson, like when he took that kid. Up to now, the kid is staying with his mom in Nairobi, if I'm not mistaken. And when he took that kid, like a lot of people talked a lot of shit about he's doing that to get money from NGOs and shit. Like, so let's focus on the good thing, on the good part of the thing. She mentioned something about politics being dirty. My lady, all over the world, the whole world is being governed by gangsters. The current Italian president is from a mafia background. The former Japanese prime minister is from a Yakuza background, which is a mafia. He like his finger is which is a Yakuza tradition. So the problem with our gangsters is they are amateur gangsters. They are not professional gangsters. They don't know how to play the game. So what do we do in this case? We detach ourselves from them. We take over the country. The government is preaching something and the simple citizen is doing something different. So leadership does not have to be position of power. In countries like UAE, even in the parliament, they don't discuss politics, they discuss economy. They discuss improvements. When they started improving their countries, the prince, because they have a prince, like the prince would go, like if there are developmental projects, the guy would be there supervising the projects himself. And he was asked, why are you doing that? You are the goddamn president. Why are you going to construction sites? He said, because I want good life for my people today. I don't want it tomorrow. I want them to go to sleep today and wake up to something good tomorrow. So since we are not getting that from the leadership positions, we could be the leaders who would portray the good leadership, if you know what I mean. And eradicating this tribalism thing. We don't need all these campaigns. We don't need all these jota, yata. I don't know. Our peace is not being implemented. One of the reasons is lack of budget. Do we need budget to live, to coexist? Do we need a budget to be good to each other? They need a budget. We don't need that budget. How about we practice that? Let's just practice that. And let's create common interests. People like, especially business people, whether for profit or non-profit, when you find someone from a specific tribe, like all these are local organizations, 80% of the staff are from the tribe of the executive director or the chairman of the board. Which is, it's good for empowerment, but yes, because actually out of the 80% of them are incompetent. So you see, like these are ways that we can create common interest. Like if I have something that he can do, why don't I get him? He gives quality job, and this is credit for me and credit for him. It's good, it's marketing for me, and it's network for him. And then, like, I know, like, every man has a team. Every man has a team. Even Jesus had a team. And in a team, there is no leader, because I have a specific leadership role that I play in a team. You have yours, and he has his. And then, as a team, you have your own team. He has his own team. I have my own team. Like, I really love these organized crime institutions like the mafia, the Yakuza, and these, like, if I'm currently the boss and you guys are my two generals, I will tell you, you should have your own team and he should have his own team out of our leadership hierarchy. Because because they say success is not about how far you have gone, it's about how many people you bring with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the ending part. We were supposed to have a very amazing discussions, but the people we were targeting, the two of them did not show up. That's why we had to discuss this. But I always say, for those who have been coming to the show, I always say, for us, it's not about the crowd. It's not about the crowd. It's what we talk. And we're going to continue like this. We'll be having podcasts. We'll be having this live audience discussion. And I'm glad that we have a lot of discussion to make. And by the way, two national MPs approached me probably on Tuesday. The guy who's in charge of the border verification stuff. So I might have them on Tuesday here. But as well, it is very good for us to discuss social issues. Relationship is something that we need to talk about, because this is something that really we need to change the perspective, how our young men and young women think about relationship. And I always say it's good to have fun, right? It's good to go to the clubs, we dance, but always it's also good to come to a place where you learn something. Like for me today, I've learned a lot from Mawa. I've learned a lot from Luke, you see. But most of our young people are so much focused on having fun alone. You should have fun and also get time to learn something. So places like this, we need to come sometimes and learn something new. So otherwise, thank you very much.